Wouldn't it have been awesome for us to go to experience that?
Sure.
And then I thought to myself, well, I wonder if it's too late. Can we get a last-minute flight to go back to Montreal and for you to head there with me and get some tickets? And I was looking at tickets. So for the game last night, Canada-USA, what do you think the tickets were running for at the Bell Center?
You already told me when we were having coffee, and it took me 5 guesses to get there. I couldn't believe it. And I kept going up and up and up. I was shocked. What did you say, 700? For a nosebleed?
For the absolute worst seat in the building, at the back, 22,000 high, where you can barely see the action, $700 on Ticketmaster resale.
Unbelievable.
And then for the Finland-Sweden game?
Yeah, the afternoon game yesterday.
$59.
Unbelievable.
What a deal.
What a gouge.
But I guess nobody wants to go see the Scandinavians.
Well, look, I think there was a lot more people cheering for the Finns in that first game against the USA at Bell Center than they were cheering against the USA, and evidence of that was how much the crowd went nuts after that first Finnish goal, and the fact that they were booing the national anthem. Don't do that.
We're going to save the anthem.
Don't do that.
I promised recently we're going to start saving the politics towards the end of the show.
Okay.
Because people want sports to begin, and then as you ease into the show, we'll hit you with that stuff. So we'll save that for the end. I promise. Yeah, it would have been really cool for us to go. Obviously next year, because they promised they're going to be doing this tournament every other year, and they want to do a World Cup, I think, in 28 with 8 teams. But still, what a shame without Russia. Russia would have been a great addition.
I've brought this up before. I think they should bring the Canada Cup format back, and I don't think it has to be as international, but truly make it a Canada Cup. I think once the NHL season is done and all these teams that don't make playoffs, or if they get bounced in the first round, instead of going over to the World Championships, which has less eyes on it than the women's Olympic team when they're playing in the finals against the USA. I mean, the World Championships are kind of an afterthought. I mean, I know it's a big deal over in Europe. I mean, I'm not taking that away from the Europeans. It's a big deal. But in North America, we don't care as much. I mean, I think the Spengler Cup probably gets as much viewership. So I would love to see the Canada Cup actually be a Canadian tournament where you have all these guys who aren't playing because their team got bounced, mix them with a bunch of like high-end junior players, maybe some amateur guys from the Allen Cup, and have a provincial rivalry coast to coast. BC fighting against Quebec. You got, Nunavut could probably field a team with some help with the Northwest Territories. You can have, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Alberta. I think it would be a great tournament.
I think so, too. You hear that Ridgeon guy moved to Nunavut.
Yeah, right?
Starting goalie for Nunavut.
Go get a P.O. box up there. You could absolutely get one. That'd be great.
How many guys do you think would start changing their address for that, just so they can get on weaker teams?
Well, that's happened in curling in the past decade, where you have to be a resident of that province in order to be...
Like own property, or that's on your driver's license?
That's got to be on your driver's license, and apparently there's been a lot of P.O. boxes set up because you've got a lot of people who... I mean, I'm trying to think of an example right now, but a few of them have said, okay, well, I didn't qualify here in Manitoba, so I'm going to go over to Alberta and try and qualify there, or BC, or wherever it may be. So I think you might run into that problem, but yeah, it's possible.
That's how I was doing when I was playing AAA hockey. The south end of the city in Winnipeg, it was almost impossible to make the teams, so set up a different address in the north end of town. Well, made AAA for my first year.
Good for you.
So it's doable.
Well, that's one thing I actually heard Charles Barkley talking about in regards to basketball. When you're getting recruited from high school to go to a lot of these NCAA colleges, why would you go to the best team? Like, why shoot for USC? You're not going to be a standout. Go play for a bad team. Yep. Go play for a team that's going to roll out the red carpet for you, saying, we need you, and be able to start every single game, get all the minutes, have an opportunity to shine so you can make it up to that next level.
That's risky. I mean, you sound the national champion. Good luck playing there anytime soon.
Right.
Or at least starting, we should say. But would you do Team GTA versus the rest of Ontario, or do you just do one Ontario team?
I think you'd have to do Northern Ontario and then Southern Ontario. At this point, I don't even know why they haven't split that province yet, because Northern Ontario is closer to Manitoba as far as a culture than it is in Southern Ontario.
Amen. Especially the great folks of Thunder Bay.
Totally.
But I don't know, though. I feel like Southern Ontario would still dummy Northern. You got to put like just the GTA and then the rest.
I don't think so. You've got Sudbury up there. You've got a lot of good hockey cities. Timmins, a lot of good players coming out of Northern Ontario. So I think you'd have enough to field a team.
To the folks of Sudbury that listen to this show, would you rather be a part of the Manitoba culture or the center of the universe? Or I identify that more towards Northern Manitoba.
What's that?
Or Northern Ontario, sorry, Sudbury.
Yeah, absolutely is Northern Ontario.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
But closer to Manitoba than the center of the universe in Toronto.
100%. Yeah, they have more of, I guarantee you, they have more of an affiliation with Winnipeg than they do Toronto.
Yeah, go Wolves. Nickel capital of the world, where they also filmed Shoresy.
Hey, more hockey content. It might be old, it might be new, it might be a full episode, it might be a half episode, but you can click these boxes because who doesn't like clicking boxes?